I want to tell you guys how I landed a front flip after 4 years of unsuccessfully trying to land it.
I just landed the butt flip by myself. I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I thought I should give up because it's been so many years I couldn't land it. And I did it.
Yes, sir!
A little bit more here. Go again. A little bit more.
I started training in Santa Monica. This is when I saw slacklining for the first time, and this is the only thing I knew about slacklining. So I started training over sand, full of fear, not just because of sand, but also because I didn't do any sports before that, and I started when I was 32 years old. It's kind of hard. So the first time I tried a front flip, it was in a gym. The setup there, like the time we had there was like really short, but I really appreciate that opportunity because it was the first time when I was able to throw a front flip on the slackline. And I was actually able to land on the line, but not like properly. But at least I was able to throw it straight. So the first tries weren't great, but they were straighter than all the rest of the tries that I've done. And this is something that I've noticed in a lot of beginners when they just start doing front flips, unless they completely, like there is a mistake that very, very beginners do. They catch the line with their heels. When they start flipping, they flip a little bit to the side or a lot to the side, and they start like tucking right away, and they clip their feet on the line. That's why I recommend trying like the first ones over like a foam pit or with harness on, because the next butt flips I threw, and I was able to throw them over sand at some point, they were just not slightly off, but just enough off the line, so I would like scrape myself a little bit, like touch the line or don't even touch it at all and land on my feet. This is what pretty much what my butt flip looked like, but then like nothing I did helped me. I tried to throw to the right, it just that wouldn't happen, and I didn't have enough good opportunities to experiment until I got to Brazil. Because in Brazil we had the pads under the lines, and at some point we got a harness with a rope. I felt really comfortable trying whatever I can without like landing on my head or like slapping myself really hard. I was able to do a lot more tries, a lot more attempts, but all of my attempts, they still looked the same. Like they still looked, I go up and then my hands and my head would go left to the line. And then I land on my feet slightly like away from the line. But if you compare that with a person who actually lands on the line, it looked like I was so off. Like it looked, my head would start here and then my head would go away from the line, and nothing seemed to help me. Like at some point I got rid of fear. I can tell you how I did it in another video, but also by trying it a lot. And I started comparing how I throw it with how other people throw it. So the main difference that I noticed is the direction of my head. And it seemed like the more I would think about tucking, I would go sooner to tuck and my head would sooner go left. So this is what I needed to avoid. I used a few things that helped me. Like one of the things that helped was Zev Gonzalez, Zephaniah. He suggested, hey, you think too much about your hands. and I try to imagine, hey, what if I do a front flip without using my hands? I was kind of like thinking about my head movement more than my hands. Some other people suggested, so instead of creating this movement here, what if you create the opposite movement with your left shoulder? Because I also noticed that my shoulders were turned. Like for people who are doing it straight, their shoulders were straight, but my shoulders were turned, like my left shoulder was always in the back. I imagined going forward with my left shoulder and then creating the opposite movement. So instead of going like this, I was imagining going like this almost. And I asked somebody to stay on the right side of the line. I was trying to direct my flip there. But then once you do that, there is another thing that happens. Your flip you start going like sideways, because I would throw it at the person. So I would direct it like this, and then I would immediately go this way. So the flip was going so sideways that when I tried it with the harness on, I started catching one of the ropes with my legs because it was so sideways. I realized that this is not the right strategy that I need to do. Yes, I need to throw it a little bit to the right of the line, and for me it's to the right because I'm goofy, but for people who are left leg forward is going to be to the left of the line. But I'm going to just explain it for my side. So what helped me was realizing that I need to throw it off the line, but not that much off the line. And I have to somehow correct my set. So I've noticed that I need to set longer. And what I mean is I need to go up longer as long as I can before I start tucking. Because tucking is like the worst enemy. Once I start tucking, it's going this way. So I have to wait. I would count like 1, 2, 3 inside of me. I would go like butt bounce, 1, 2, 3, and I would look at the person that would stand on the right side of the line as long as I can. And even when I start tucking, I would still keep looking, because as long as I was looking, it was going straight. A landing was another puzzle to solve, because landing didn't feel natural. My natural reaction, because I did butt flip a little bit sideways so many times, so I had to land on my feet. So my hips would turn to avoid the line, to avoid like scraping, slapping, and just being able to land on my feet. But what helped me to land was when I was still trying it with the harness on, somebody pushed the pad under me. So I knew I could land my butt on the line and dab hard, but still land on the line without getting like slapped or scraped. So it gave me like enough security to do that. So I was imagining going like I'm gonna sit on the chair. And when you do it straight, your legs kind of like go naturally into your butt bounce position, so they go to the side, but with your hips being straight. But for me, what helped me was a visualization of somebody putting pad under the line, so I would just like sit on it and be secure. And also, I used somebody to throw a pad. Like what actually happened was somebody was putting a pad on the line, so I would avoid a slap if I was off, because that was like a big fear factor for me, to get super slapped with the line. But then I want to try the technique that Choza suggested. He said that when he feels he's off on a butt flip, so instead of getting slapped like this with the line, he goes like this and kind of pushes the line against him, and the line kind of scrapes him a little bit, like he presses the line hard towards his body, so he wouldn't get slapped this hard, because it's like everybody who trick lines knows it's like not the most pleasant feeling. So when I landed the front flip, I went really, really high and tried to set longer, because I realized when I look at the line, like when I stopped looking at the line, my head was going down. So I tried to look at the line as long as possible, because while I was looking at the line, my throwing was straight. Like the way that I was throwing, I was throwing along the line.
So I tried to go as high as possible, look at Anja. Anja was standing next to the line as long as possible. And when I start talking, I would look because it will ensure the right direction of the flip. And I tried to move my left shoulder forward. And then on the landing, I was imagining that Amelia was putting the pad under me so I could put my butt down. Like it helps to stick my butt out and put it on the line.
A lot of people, when they give you advice about butt flips, they care that you don't land on your head, so they say tuck. But actually that made my flip worse, because when I would tuck, when I just think about tucking, it would make my head go to the left of the line. So the trick here is to wait and then tuck. Also, I was about to give up with butt flips, because once I landed it with a harness on, then I couldn't land it for a while. I came back from the competition and I didn't try it, and then I was trying it again and I just couldn't get enough air and like the momentum to go up, and I tried it for hours and hours and hours. I couldn't do it, and I thought it was like a glitch that I landed it, so I was about to give up on that trick so many times actually. But then I got in the higher line and I tried it again, and I was able to create that good set to land on my butt. So I'm really happy about it. Right now it's really it's a hard time to train. I haven't done it since Brazil, which is sad, but I hope to do it soon again. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions. I'd really like to help you with information I have, and never give up.